Let's get one thing straight from the jump. The Rawrr Mantis 72V is not an electric bicycle. It has no pedals to speak of. This is a full-blown, lightweight electric motorcycle, or e-moto, built to compete directly with giants like the Surron and Talaria. I've spent the last few weeks treating it like one, blasting up steep fire roads, hitting single track, and seeing just how much power this 72-volt system puts down. My first surprise? It feels less like a mountain bike with a motor and much more like a scaled-down dirt bike. Frame and build quality. The bike is built around a forged 6061 aluminum alloy frame. When you get hands-on with it, the build quality is impressive for its price point, which is right in the thick of the e-moto market. The welds are clean, and the frame has a solid, rigid feel that inspires confidence when you're hitting berms hard. The 72-volt, 35-amp-hour Samsung battery is a massive 2,520 watt-hours. It's cleanly integrated into the down tube area and is fully removable with a key. This is a huge win for anyone who lives in an apartment or wants to charge the battery indoors. At around 165 pounds, this bike is no lightweight. You are not carrying this up a flight of stairs. But on the move, that weight is carried low and center, making the bike feel surprisingly planted and balanced. Power, handling, and real-world range. This is what you're here for. The 72-volt system is the Mantis's calling card, and the power delivery is serious. The motor, which peaks at over 9,000 watts, provides instant arm-yanking torque. It has multiple ride modes, but I spent most of my time in two. Eco mode, which tames the throttle response significantly. I found it perfect for navigating tight technical single track where precise control is more important than outright speed. Sport mode, this uncorks the full power. The acceleration is aggressive, and it will lift the front wheel with just a twist of the throttle. On open fire roads, I was hitting speeds over 50 miles per hour, and the bike felt surprisingly stable. Handling is a mix between a mountain bike and a dirt bike. The 19-inch moto-style wheels and dedicated off-road tires provide way more grip than any mountain bike component. The bike loves to be leaned over in corners, and the suspension, an inverted front fork with 200 millimeters of travel and a rear monoshock, does a respectable job of soaking up high-speed chatter and medium-sized hits. It's not a full-on motocross suspension, but for fast trail riding, it's more than capable. And as for range, forget the 75-mile eco mode claims. In the real world, riding in sport mode and hitting hills hard, I was consistently getting between 20 and 25 miles of aggressive riding. That's about 2 to 3 hours of hard fun before I started looking for the truck. Drivetrain and components. As I mentioned, this is a moped-style bike, so the concept of a traditional bicycle drivetrain doesn't apply. The motor drives the rear wheel via a robust chain and sprocket connected through an internal gearbox. This setup is simple, strong, and exactly what you want for this kind of high-torque application. The components that do matter are the ones that stop you. The Mantis is equipped with 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes on massive 203mm rotors. I was skeptical if they could handle 165 pounds plus a rider at 50 miles per hour, but they held up well. I did notice a little bit of brake fade on a very long, steep downhill fire road, but for most trail encounters, they provide strong, predictable stopping power. Limitations and trade-offs. The biggest limitation isn't the bike, it's the law. This is an electric motorcycle. You absolutely cannot ride this on bicycle trails, in bike lanes, or in most state and local parks. This machine is for private property or designated off-road vehicle areas only. Some specific models may be eligible for plating as a moped, but you must check your local laws. Second, the weight is substantial. While it feels balanced at speed, you feel all 165 pounds when you have to bulldog it through a tight uphill switchback, or worse, pick it up after a crash. And when that battery dies, you are pushing a 165-pound motorcycle home. There is no pedal of shame. The final verdict. So who is the 72V Rawrr Mantis for? Buy this bike if you want a high-performance, lightweight electric motorcycle for ripping up private trails, riding in ORV parks, or just having silent, torquey fun. It offers incredible power and solid build quality for a price that seriously challenges its main competitors. Skip this if you are looking for an e-bike to ride on mountain bike trails, commute to work, or get exercise. This is not a bicycle. It is a specialized off-road vehicle that is an absolute blast as long as you have a legal place to ride it. Let's clear the air. This is not an electric bicycle. It's a 139-pound, throttle-powered electric dirt bike. The biggest surprise was how it completely shreds expectations. I was anticipating a powerful e-bike. What I got was a silent, lightweight motorcycle that offers a more visceral, aggressive ride than its popular competitors. Frame and build quality. The Pro SS 2.0 is built around a burly, forged aluminum frame that feels more like a motocross bike than a mountain bike. At 139 pounds, it's a featherweight compared to a 250cc gas dirt bike, but it's a heavyweight in the e-bike world. The massive 72-volt 40Ah Samsung battery is the centerpiece, sitting where an engine would be. It's removable for charging, which is a huge plus, but its size and weight mean you'll probably charge it in the bike most of the time. The motor is smartly integrated into the frame, keeping the center of gravity low. Compared to its main rival, the Surron Light Bee X, the eRide Pro feels more substantial out of the box, with beefier forks, larger brake rotors, and a general feeling of being built to handle its own impressive power. Motor and battery performance. This is the entire story. The eRide Pro SS 2.0 is a throttle-only machine with a motor that peaks at a staggering 12 kilowatts. For context, a street-legal pedal-assist e-bike is usually limited to 750 watts. The power is not an assist, it's an explosion. With a 0 to 30 mile/hour time of just 2.36 seconds, at a top speed of around 60 miles per hour, the acceleration is violent, thrilling, and demands respect. On steep climbs that would have me gasping on a mountain bike, the Pro SS 2.0 just tractors up with a silent, relentless pull. The 40Ah battery provides excellent range for this level of performance. The company advertises over 50 miles, which is achievable if you're riding at a steady 25 miles per hour. In my aggressive real-world trail riding, I was getting a solid 30 to 35 miles of hard fun, which is more than 2 hours of riding. A full charge from empty takes about 3 hours. Crucially, this is legally an off-road motorcycle. It is not a Class 1, 2, or 3 e-bike. It is not street legal out of the box and cannot be ridden on non-motorized mountain bike or multi-use trails. Drivetrain and components. Since this is a throttle-driven e-moto, the drivetrain is simply a single-speed chain drive. There is no shifting and no pedals to worry about. Your entire focus is on throttle control, braking, and body position. The components that matter are the ones trying to manage the speed. The bike features a long-travel RST inverted moto-style fork and a rear monoshock. While high-end downhill racers will find their limits, the stock suspension is surprisingly decent for the price, soaking up big hits and chattery braking bumps without complaint. The 4-piston hydraulic brakes are strong, and they're mated to large 220mm rotors, giving them the power needed to haul this much mass down from speed. The regenerative braking, which helps recharge the battery on descents, is a nice touch. Limitations and trade-offs. The greatest strength of the eRide Pro SS 2.0 is also its biggest limitation. It's an electric motorcycle. You cannot ride this anywhere mountain bikes or e-bikes are allowed. You are restricted to private land or designated off-highway vehicle OHV trail systems. Its 139-pound weight, while light for a moto, is still a lot to manage in very tight, technical terrain, and you won't be lifting it over a fallen tree. This is also not a bike for beginners. The instant 12 kilowatts of power can be incredibly dangerous if you're not ready for it. Final verdict. Buy this bike if you want the power of a dirt bike without the noise, fumes, or maintenance, and you have access to motorized OHV trail systems. Skip this if you are looking for a fitness tool, need a street-legal vehicle, or want something to ride on your local mountain bike trails. The best e-moto is the one you can actually use. If you have the land to ride it on,
The eRide Pro SS 2.0 is arguably the best bang for your buck in the lightweight electric dirt bike category today.
Honestly, it's been a bit of a revelation, blurring the lines between mountain bike and full-size dirt bike in some really interesting ways that I didn't entirely expect. It's not perfect, but man, it's a ton of fun and has surprised me with its versatility. Frame and build quality. First impressions out of the crate were pretty good. The aluminum frame feels robust, and the welds are clean, giving off a sense of durability that inspires confidence. At around 145 pounds, it's light enough to manhandle a bit if you get into a sticky situation, but it still feels substantial beneath you. The overall fit and finish are a step up from some of the earlier electric bikes in this category, showing a maturation in design and manufacturing. The component spec is exactly what you'd expect for the price point: a capable, no-frills setup designed to take a beating. It's not flashy, but it's functional, and that's what really matters on the trail. Suspension and handling. This is where the MX4 really shines, and, in some ways, where it demands a bit of adjustment. The front fork, an inverted unit with 200 millimeters of travel, combined with the FAST's rear shock, offers a plush 85 millimeters of travel at the wheel. On sustained climbs, the suspension does a surprisingly good job of finding traction. The bike stays composed, and I rarely felt it getting unsettled. Descending is where it truly comes alive. The relatively slack head tube angle for a bike of this size contributes to excellent stability at speed. I felt incredibly confident railing through berms and even hitting some modest jumps at the motocross park. It corners with an eagerness that belies its weight, allowing you to flick it around with surprising agility. Through gnarly rock gardens, the suspension soaks up hits effectively, though on really high-speed, repetitive square-edged bumps, you can feel it approaching its limits. It's a very competent setup for aggressive trail riding and light enduro-style terrain, encouraging you to push harder without feeling overwhelmed. I've ridden full-size dirt bikes that felt less nimble in tight sections. Drivetrain and performance. The MX4 boasts an impressive powertrain. The IPM motor is rated at 8 kilowatts peak power, delivering serious punch. Off-the-line acceleration is instant and brutal, making quick work of steep ascents. On flat sections, it easily hits its advertised top speed of 47 miles per hour, which is plenty fast for any trail riding I'm doing. The belt drive system is quiet and requires minimal maintenance, which is a huge plus compared to traditional chains that get caked in mud. Over my testing period, I had zero issues with the motor or battery. The range is also quite respectable. I consistently got over 2 hours of aggressive trail riding on a single charge, which translates to a good 30-plus miles, depending on how heavy-handed you are with the throttle. It's a powerful and reliable setup that genuinely enhances the riding experience. Limitations and trade-offs. No bike is perfect, and the MX4 has a few areas where it shows its compromises. The stock tires, while decent all-rounders, are not ideal for really loose or muddy conditions. I found myself wishing for something more aggressive on several occasions. Also, while the suspension is good, heavier riders or those pushing pro-level speeds might find themselves wanting more adjustability or a higher-end aftermarket upgrade. It's also important to remember this isn't a street-legal machine out of the box, so consider your riding areas. Final verdict. Buy this bike if you're looking for a highly capable, ridiculously fun electric dirt bike that bridges the gap between a mountain bike and a full-sized motocross machine. It's perfect for aggressive trail riding, exploring off-road, and even some light track use. Skip this if you primarily need a street-legal commuter, or if you're a professional racer needing ultra-high-end suspension components right out of the box. For the vast majority of riders wanting an exhilarating off-road electric experience, the Talaria Sting MX4 is a fantastic choice that will put a huge smile on your face.
When the Surron Ultra Bee was first announced, I was skeptical. I've spent a lot of time on its smaller sibling, the Light Bee, and I own a 250cc four-stroke. My fear was that this bike would be a bad compromise, too heavy to be playful like the Light Bee and too underpowered to hang with full-size gas bikes. After a solid month of thrashing this thing on moto trails, tight single-track, and open fire roads, I can tell you my first impression was completely wrong. This isn't just a bigger Light Bee. It's a totally different machine that hits a sweet spot I frankly didn't know existed. Frame and build quality. The first thing you notice is that this feels like a real motorcycle, not an overpowered mountain bike. The forged aluminum frame is incredibly stiff and looks like it was built to take a serious beating. At 85 kilograms or 187 pounds, it's not light, but that weight is carried very low and centered. The battery integration is clean. It's a massive 74-volt, 55-amp-hour pack that dominates the center of the frame, but it's well protected. You can charge it in the bike, or you can haul it out to charge inside. Be warned, that battery is heavy, so most of my charging happened with it in place. For its price, the overall build quality, the welds, and the finish feel premium. It feels more solid than many of its gas-powered competitors in that price range. Motor, battery, and handling. This is the most important part, so let's get right to it. First, this is not a pedal assist e-bike. This is an electric off-road motorcycle. There are no pedals. The 12.5 kilowatt peak power motor is an absolute revelation. In sport mode, the 440 newton meters of torque at the rear wheel are instant, and the front wheel wants to lift with just a twist of the throttle. But unlike a twitchy two-stroke, the power delivery is incredibly predictable. This is the magic of a good electric drive. The throttle response is so precise that you can dial in the exact amount of power you need for a technical climb, making tricky sections feel almost like cheating. Eco mode is for limping home, and daily mode is perfect for 90% of trail riding, offering a great balance of power and range. Now about that range. Surron claims 140 kilometers, or 87 miles. In the real world, that's not happening. What I found was that I could get about 40 to 50 miles of hard, aggressive trail riding on a single charge. This included steep climbs, fast sections, and technical rock gardens. Honestly, that was more than enough. My body was ready for a break before the battery was. But the real magic is how it handles. That 187-pound weight, which sounds heavy, feels incredibly light and flickable once you're moving. It carries its weight so low that you can tip it into corners with the confidence of a mountain bike, but it has the stability of a dirt bike on fast, rough sections. Suspension, brakes, and components. Let's be clear, you don't pedal this bike, so there's no complex drivetrain to talk about. It's a simple, single-gear, chain drive system, and it's refreshingly simple and tough. The real story here is the suspension. The models I tested came with fully adjustable suspension that is worlds beyond what you'd find on the smaller Light Bee. I spent a morning setting my sag and clicking the compression and rebound adjusters, and the difference was huge. Once dialed in, the bike handled high-speed G-outs and repetitive braking bumps without flinching. It's not top-tier Öhlins, but it's a serious, capable suspension package that doesn't feel like a budget component. The brakes are massive 4-piston hydraulic units on 240mm rotors. They have to be to stop this much bike. They offer great progressive feel, and I never experienced any fade, even on long, steep descents. It also has an adjustable regenerative braking system, which helps put a little juice back into the battery on the downhills. Limitations and trade-offs. All right, honesty time. This bike isn't perfect. First, in most places, the standard off-road model is not street legal. This is a trail machine, period. Second, that 187-pound weight is a disadvantage when you're not riding it. You aren't putting this on a standard car bike rack. This is a truck, van, or trailer bike. And if you drop it on a steep off-camber hill, you will feel every single one of those 187 pounds. Finally, there's the range. While I found 40 to 50 miles to be plenty, you can't just go on an all-day, 100-mile epic with your gas bike buddies.
You have to plan your rides around that battery, and a full recharge takes about 4 hours. Final verdict. So who is this bike for? Buy this bike if you're a mountain biker who wants to go faster and further without the noise, maintenance, and intimidation of a full-size gas bike. Or buy this bike if you're an experienced moto rider who wants something lighter, more playful, and quiet enough to ride in areas where a 250F would get you in trouble. Skip this if you need a street-legal commuter or if all your friends ride 450s on 100-mile desert loops. The best electric bike is the one you'll actually use. And because the Ultra Bee is so quiet, so easy to just hop on and ride, and so ridiculously fun, I found myself riding it far more often than my gas bike. It has officially become the new sweet spot in off-road.
All right, let's talk about the Surron Light Bee X. What surprised me most is how much it blurs the line between electric mountain bike and full-blown electric dirt bike. It's a contradiction in the best possible way, offering an incredibly fun and unique riding experience that defies easy categorization. Frame and build quality. The Surron Light Bee X sports an aluminum alloy frame that feels incredibly robust despite its relatively light weight for a motorized vehicle. The build quality is surprisingly good, especially considering its price point compared to high-end e-mountain bikes or entry-level dirt bikes. It's a minimalist design, but everything feels well integrated. The swing arm is solid, and the overall rigidity of the chassis is excellent, giving you confidence when pushing it hard. The foot pegs are wide and grippy, offering a stable platform. Compared to a traditional mountain bike, it's obviously heavier, but that heft contributes to its stability at speed and through rough terrain. It doesn't flex or creak under load, which is a testament to its durable construction. Suspension and handling. This is where the Surron really shines and differentiates itself. The Light Bee X comes with an adjustable inverted front fork and a multi-link rear suspension. Now, it's not Fox factory level, but it is remarkably capable. On fast descents, the suspension soaks up roots and rocks with ease, feeling more like a lightweight dirt bike than an e-mountain bike. I rode it extensively on trails like the Beeline and Rock Garden sections at my local bike park, and it absolutely ate up the chatter. The 203mm travel at both ends is substantial, allowing for aggressive riding and bigger hits. The geometry, with its relatively slack head tube angle, provides excellent stability at speed. However, because it's a motorcycle chassis, not a bicycle, the rider position is more upright and centered, giving you a commanding view and excellent control through tight, technical sections. Cornering confidence is high. You can really lean into turns and trust the tires to hook up. Climbing on steep, loose fire roads, the suspension maintains traction incredibly well, preventing wheel spin and allowing you to power up gradients that would challenge many dedicated enduro bikes. Drivetrain and performance. Let's be clear, this isn't a pedal-assist e-bike. This is a throttle-driven machine. The electric motor delivers an immediate and exhilarating punch. With 60 V and up to 6,000 W of peak power, acceleration is instant and addictive. On steep fire road climbs, it just devours elevation, making short work of sections that would usually have me gasping for air. The single-speed drivetrain is simple and effective. There's no worrying about shifting, just twist the throttle and go. The power delivery is smooth and predictable, though it can be a bit jumpy in sport mode if you're not careful with the throttle. Range-wise, I was consistently getting 30 to 40 miles of aggressive trail riding on a single charge, which is impressive. The belt drive is quiet and requires minimal maintenance, which is a huge plus. Braking is handled by hydraulic disc brakes front and rear, and they offer plenty of stopping power, even when hauling ass down a technical descent. Limitations and trade-offs. While the Surron is a blast, it's not without its limitations. Legally, it's a gray area in many places. It's too powerful for many mountain bike trails and too small for legal road use in some jurisdictions. This means you need to be mindful of where you ride it. The stock tires are decent, but can be overwhelmed on really loose, steep climbs or slick routes. Finally, while the suspension is good, it's not as finely tunable as higher-end bicycle suspension, so you might not get that hyper-plush, magic carpet feel that some premium mountain bikes offer. Final verdict. Buy this bike if you're looking for an incredibly fun, capable, and low-maintenance electric off-road machine that bridges the gap between mountain biking and dirt biking. It's perfect for riders who want serious power, excellent suspension, and an exhilarating riding experience on trails, fire roads, and even a bit of playful urban exploration. Skip this if you primarily ride legal mountain bike trails where electric motorcycles are prohibited, or if you want a bike that offers traditional pedal assist functionality. Ultimately, the Surron Light Bee X is an absolute riot that will put a massive smile on your face and make you want to ride more.